Researchers of universities in Africa need to bring meaningful societal economic transformation, State Minister of Education. State Minister for Education Cora Tushen said that the research outcomes of higher education in Africa need to lead into meaningful societal and economic transformation. The 23rd International Conference on Private Higher Education in Africa was held in Addis Ababa today under the theme, The Academic
Research outputs should be measured by their impact on society at large. Our research should embrace sustainable development goals and targets. They should contribute to the global efforts in addressing issues that are common challenge to humanity, that is climate change, sustainable energy, poverty and social stability, instability, environmental degradation, pandemics, and so on. In Africa, our higher education institutions should work hard to secure a decent place for Africa and its people in the coming knowledge and technology-driven society. Africans should not just be consumers of knowledge and technology, but should be part of the global knowledge generation and transmission hubs.
Said the research works conducted by higher education institutions need to be used for problem solving and achieving development of the society. St. Mary's University President Associate Professor Wandwizen Temret on his part said
Research for development and impact emphasizes the indispensable role of research in addressing Africa's complex and urgent development challenges. As universities are increasingly recognized as engines of innovation, it's vital that research agendas are aligned with local realities and that research outcomes lead to meaningful societal and economic transformation. It's only through strategic investment in research and societal impact that our institutions can truly fulfill their development mandates.
He underscored. Edward McComb, on behalf of Professor Seydou Madougou, Director of the African Union Commission's Department of Education, Science, Technology, and Innovation, AUESTI, said that currently global knowledge economy
ensuring that our academic and research ecosystems are robust, well-funded, and aligned with continental and global development agendas. Our discussions today are framed by two critical sub-themes. First, the academic profession in times of change challenges us to reflect on how African academia must evolve amid digital transformation, demographic shifts, and the demand for skills that drive innovation. Our educators and researchers are the custodians of knowledge, yet they must also be agile, responsive, and empowered to meet the needs of a rapidly changing world. Second, research for development impact compels us to ensure that Africa's research outputs translate into real-world solutions. Too often, groundbreaking discoveries remain confined to journals rather than transforming lives. We must bridge the gap between laboratories, communities, between theory and practice, so that research directly addresses Africa's challenges from healthcare and food security to renewable energy and smart infrastructure.
Ethiopia Foreign Affairs Ministry briefed journalists on wide range of issues. Spokesperson of Ministry of Foreign Affairs, Ambassador Nebiat Getachew briefed journalists on major issues of political, economic and citizen-oriented diplomatic activities carried out by the ministry. Ambassador Nebiat stated that Foreign Minister Gedeon Timotheus participated in the third EU-African Union ministerial meeting in Brussels, Belgium. The ministerial meeting
እንዲሁም በርካታ የሁለትዮሽ ባይላተራል ውይይቶች አካሂደዋል። ከኦስትሪያ ውጭ ጉዳይ ሚኒስትር፣ ከቤልጅየም ምክትል ጠቅላይ ሚኒስትርና የውጭ ጉዳይ ሚኒስትር፣ ከአውሮፓ ህብረት የውስጥና የስደተኞች ጉዳይ ኮሚሽነር፣ ከማልታ ምክትል ጠቅላይ ሚኒስትር እና ውጭ ጉዳይ ሚኒስትር፣ ከክሮኤሺያ ውጭ ጉዳይ ሚኒስትር እንዲሁም ከስሎቬኒያ ውጭ
Ministry of Foreign Affairs, Ambassador Nebiat Getachew briefed journalists on major issues of political, economic and citizen-oriented diplomatic activities carried out by the ministry. Ambassador Nebiat stated that Foreign Minister Gedeon Timotheus participated in the third EU-African Union ministerial meeting in Brussels, Belgium. The ministerial meeting held in-depth discussions on infrastructure construction, climate change, renewable energy development, private sector economic participation, cybersecurity and other sustainable development issues, he elaborated. On the sidelines of the meeting, the spokesperson stated that Foreign Minister Ged Ayaan had held successful discussions with his counterparts and officials from EU member states on Ethiopia's national interests and ways of
በሰው ሰራሽ አስተውሎት በሳይበርና ሳይበር ደህንነት በቴክኖሎጂ ፈጠራዎች ላይ ያተኮረው የአፍሪካ ኢቲኤክስ 2025 በአዲስ ዓለም አቀፍ የስብሰባ ማዕከል በስኬት ማስተናገዷ የዓለም የሥራ ድርጅት የአፍሪካ ቀጣና ጉባኤ በአድዋ ድል መታሰቢያ ሚውዚየም በስኬት ማስተናገዱ የአይዲ ፎር አፍሪካ ዲጂታል መታወቂያ ጉባኤ የምስራቅ አፍሪካ የልማት በየነ መንግስታት ኢጋድ 2 ቀጣናዊ ስብሰባዎች በአዲስ አበባ ተካሂደዋል። ከዚህ በተጨማሪ የአፍሪካ ኢንሹራንስ ጉባኤ እንዲሁም የኢትዮጵያ ፋይናንስ ፎረም በስኬት እዚሁ መዲናችን ላይ ተስተናግዷል።
Minister Ged Ayaan had held successful discussions with his counterparts and officials from EU member states on Ethiopia's national interests and ways of bolstering bilateral ties.
በማያንማር በአስቸጋሪ ሁኔታ ውስጥ የነበሩ ኢትዮጵያውያንን ወደ ሀገራቸው የመመለስ ጥረት በዚህ ባለፈው ሳምንትና ከዛ ሳምንት በፊት ባለው ተጠናክሮ ቀጥሏል። እስካሁን ከ700 በላይ ኢትዮጵያውያን ወደ ሀገራቸው እንዲመለሱ ማድረግ ተችሏል። ሌሎች አሁንም በአስቸጋሪ ሁኔታ ውስጥ የሚገኙ ኢትዮጵያውያንን ለመመለስም እንዲሁ ኒው ዴልሂ የሚገኘው በኤምባሲያችን በኩል ጥረት ማድረጉ ቀጥሏል። እዚህ ላይ
Addis Ababa has successfully hosted a series of summits and meetings that have further reinforced its status as a diplomatic hub for Africa and beyond, he added. He specifically mentioned the successful hosting of ETX 2025, the ILO Africa Regional Meeting, the ID4 Africa Conference, 2 IGAD meetings, the African Insurance Organization Conference, and the Ethiopia Finance Forum. Addis has become a growing global and regional hub for conference tourism, the spokesperson underscored. Moreover, Ambassador Nebiat revealed efforts have continued to repatriate Ethiopians who were in difficult situations in Myanmar through citizen-centered diplomacy. In this regard, over 700 Ethiopians who were in difficult situations in Myanmar have been returned to their country so far, he noted. The spokesperson called on the public to join forces in preventing illegal human trafficking. In this regard, the public need to support the government's efforts by exposing individuals and organizations that are engaged in illegal activities and fraud, he said, warning that there are individuals and institutions that are engaged in deceiving citizens in the pretext of offering employment opportunities and free education opportunities abroad. In this respect, Ethiopia will host the Second Africa Climate Summit, which aims to highlight Africa's role in crafting global climate solutions, from September 8 to 10, 2025. This was disclosed at the Climate Resilient Green Economy Forum Technical Working Group meeting that took place in Addis Ababa. Opening the meeting, Planning and Development State Minister CM Mekonnen said climate change is a significant emergency affecting every
e-mobility policy intervention and transformative climate-smart infrastructure development across the country, showcasing not only Ethiopia's leadership but also determination for green and sustainable development. The vision of the government of Ethiopia in hosting this summit and gathering is to change the traditional narrative of Africa as always being a victim to climate change. But Africa can take a global leadership in shaping global climate solutions. This could be showcased and manifested a number of practical climate actions in Ethiopia and the whole Africa.
Norwegian Embassy Climate and Forests Councillor, Liv Sidnes, stated in her opening remarks that Norway has been
co-chairing the CRG forum since its very beginning, back in 2018. And since 2011, Norway has been working very closely with Ethiopia in operationalizing and implementing the CRG strategy. In Norway, we've had a particular focus on the forest, since forest has the largest mitigation potential in Ethiopia's NDCs. We are also now very much engaged in assisting the Ethiopian government on accessing the carbon markets, and mostly the forestry.
British Embassy Foreign, Commonwealth and Development Office Climate and Nature Lead, Dr. Nina Hissenwright, expressed
You will see that the ACS so far has a really strong focus on the emerging agenda of carbon markets, and this is close to our heart as the UK here in Ethiopia. We're really supporting the establishment of a carbon market here in Ethiopia, and particularly, or amongst others, we're funding work to establish a legal framework, and so where also the legal gaps analysis was presented. And so we as the UK are looking forward to continue this work and really help to get this over the line for implementation, so that hopefully soon we can have a functioning carbon market in Ethiopia, and for Ethiopia to really harness all the fantastic opportunities that could be within that reach.